I was born and raised on a small farm in Erie, Pennsylvania. And my parents were both artists. My father was an architect and a musician. We had musicians always in our house. I always wanted to be a musician, and then I gave up on it because I didn't want to play the regular instrument. I didn't have the piano lesson or the violin, the guitar. That was not my interest. I let it go. And so instead, I stayed really close to music. I went to every concert living in New York City, and it was Miles Davis, and it was Herbie Hancock, and it was jazz, it was avant-garde, it was Brazilian. I didn't miss a beat. At that time, I also was introduced to Eastern music. I remember hearing the tabla and the language of the tabla for the first time and being totally amazed. I loved it. It was all mystical and magical. I had two friends from St. Louis. The one brother got into world music, but he got a big job of recording the primitive music, and he would send me a tape. I was listening to the music of the world before it became world music and popular here. I was a visual artist. My life came to a hold. I suffered a terrible illness for 3 years. It was very painful and very dark. When I started coming out of this time, one of the first things that happened was that when I was able to walk and get around again easily, I went to the Eastern Market in Washington, and I met a northern Pakistani truck artist. He was painting on everything. I fell in love with that art. And so that merged with getting to know Ghulam, and we commissioned him to paint my car. It's totally painted in birds and flowers and peace. It is a love vibration and a healing vibration. So I started driving. My husband and I went into Georgetown. Someone on that street said, "Won't you please come in?" First thought was, no, I'm not going to go in anywhere I'm going. I'm making a beeline to this dress shop. And he smiled at me and he said, "Please," and it was a beautiful day, "just come in for a minute." And I did. I thought, well, I'll go in for a minute. And I went up the little steps in this beautiful little townhouse in Georgetown. I was introduced to Afghanistan at that moment. Those beautiful pieces of clothing and things were chapan, they were Suzanis, there was jewelry. I was learning, and I was soaking it up. And I walked out of the shop with all these tribal belts on, and that was the beginning. I did not want to paint anymore. I didn't want to put anything in frames. I feel it was a very huge spiritual happening for me. I was ready, and the teacher appeared, and that was Masood Omari. For the first year, I bet we had lesson almost every day except for Sunday. And that first year I studied just tabla. At a year and a half, the harmonia was introduced. And we started setting up our instruments, and along with the instruments, everything else came. Also, our name came, Tabla For Two. It's taken about 9 years, and I fell so in love with everything from Afghanistan, I would never feel right playing my music in any other thing unless it was the clothing of the country. When I made that decision, well, I didn't make it. The decision was made for me to come to this music and to be kind of an ambassador. I've never said that before. An ambassador for the music of Afghanistan, which needs to be protected and saved. I saw that, and I really wanted to do my very best in order to show the world this beautiful music. All of these things started manifesting for me. And that room, the Tabla Sphere, is all part of that. The music brought all of it. Our motto is playing for peace. And we want to put that message out into the world because music really bridges cultures. And here I am, an American, playing the music of the East with all of my heart. enlighten people about the music of Afghanistan and, of course, India. And Pakistan too. If we can turn one person on, 100 people on, 100,000 people on to this beautiful music and spread it, it's all about peace. It's all about love. It's all spiritual. It's about coming in on the one, and I see the one is this, the one. I've been guided beautifully into this music to do exactly, I believe, this job.